Hello class, I would like to give you more information about types of variables, and hopefully this could help understand how to identify them. So we'll start off with data, and we have two broad categories. We have qualitative data and quantitative data. So let's talk more about qualitative data. And within qualitative data, we have the two key identification categories of nominal and ordinal. So within qualitative data, let's focus on nominal. Nominal data typically is used for labeling. You can't order them, you cannot rank them. Here are some examples of that. Gender is one example, movie titles. We also have names, people's names, ID numbers, hair color, just color in general. So those are it's basically labels. Labels you cannot order them, rank them. Ethnicity is another one as well. Community type is another one. Things you cannot really rank. It's just to identify them. So that covers nominal type of data. Now, when we talk about ordinal data, it's like the name. Things that you can order. Now, understand these are textual constructs of terms. Typically, they're words or things like that, not numerical. So that's a key thing. One can order them, rank them. You don't know, but the key thing about them is you don't know the spacing between the terms. And here are some examples. Like when you order a steak, rare, medium, medium well done. If it's spicy, like hot. It's just here level, but okay, medium, mild, or even customer satisfaction, very poor, average, good, excellent. It could be high income or middle income, lower income, upper income. It could be types of schools. It could be elementary school, middle school, elementary, or even college in this case. It could be even grades as well, A, B, C, D. Depends on how it's scaled, but you don't know if somebody got an A or somebody got a B, if that person barely got a B, or maybe was just really close in getting an A but got a B instead. So those are just some examples of ordinal. And now let me talk about quantitative. Quantitative typically are numerical nature. So if they have the numbers, at least you're pretty sure that they're going to be, in the quantitative area. And here are some couple of examples, or at least the categories, at least, and types of variables include interval and ratio. Let's talk about interval. Interval is numerical scale with no absolute zero. Values are equally spaced. And so here are some examples, like the time of the day, an IQ test, using Fahrenheit or Celsius. Those are some examples of intervals. And let's talk about ratio. A ratio is a numerical scale, very similar to interval, but with absolute zero. Values are equally spaced. And here are some examples, distance, stopwatch, salary or income, or weight. Things that have a starting point, and they're quantifiable with a numerical scale. So that includes some examples of a ratio. Now, let me give you an exception here. So this is what we talked in class. So let's talk about a Likert scale. So this kind of is the exception to the rule that I just talked about. So it was invented by this gentleman, Rensis Likert, social psychologist. The Likert scale can convert an ordinal scale into an interval scale. And so these are the key conditions. It has to be equidistant attributes and have at least 5 response categories. Now these are rules. Not necessarily rules, I'm sorry about that, but these are like the standards or the industry standards or the guides. It's not per se laws or rules, but kind of like the standards in the field. And so I'll give you some examples. So, when you take a survey, you respond with strongly disagree, neutral, agreed, strongly agree. It could be very interested, somewhat interested, neutral, not very interested, not at all interested. They all got assigned a scale, a numerical value to each of these categories, or each of these type of areas or response options. And so each of these response options have a scale, or at least have an assigned value, where it can become an interval variable, where we will later do some calculations like averages, median, mode, things that we'll be covering in class later on, but only an interval variable can be considered or can qualify to be used as that type of variable to do such calculations. So that's the exception. So at least when we do, in order to help you identify, just understand that if it meets those conditions, equidistant attributes have at least 5 response categories, or even if it states that it is a Likert scale, that can help you let you know that it is in what we call Likert scale, therefore can be treated as, or the ordinal scale can be treated as an interval scale. Hopefully this video is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions.